Hey, what is up everyone? Hope you're all having a wonderful time. Here a quick guide for the Frozen Claw Frostbite Runemaster in last Epoch. The Frozen Claw Frostbite Runemaster is a powerful damage over time build that is mainly focusing on freezing everything screen wide and applying hundreds of stacks of Frostbite on the enemies. We are combining Ice Barrage for a huge clear, and each time we use Frozen Claw we are also going to boost the fire rate by a huge amount for the Ice Barrage, but also we have this as our main single target ability as well as a great source to generate ward. With Frozen Claw we're getting huge amounts of ward from Raven's Veil from the Frozen Claw passive tree by stacking freeze rate multiplier. By using the unique boost Snowdrift will boost the damage by a ton from this as well, as it provides 2% cold penetration with Frostbite per 10% freeze rate multiplier. So you can get some really crazy high numbers with this with a bit of investment. By being the Runemaster we also get access to the freezing point passive from the Runemaster passive tree, which makes it so all armor shred chance will convert to Frostbite instead. And this makes it so we can get some extra Frostbite chance here from both our amulet and also from our gloves as a legendary potential on those uniques. The playstyle is pretty easy for this build. First we're using Ice Barrage, which will shoot at the same direction that you have your cursor at, and then we're using Frostclaw to generate ward and help out with single target for rares and bosses. Frozen Wall is another skill which will help out boosting our damage and other cold skills once it's up. By using Phrase Retreat Catalyst we're causing Ravik's Blizzard at the same time when we're using Frostwall. The Blizzard is a invocation and get all the perks from the Rune Invocation passive tree. And even though we're not using the skill manually, we are also triggering a Runic Invocation each time we're using Flame Rush, which is going to be our mobility skill. And here, same as before, most of the time you will have 3 Heo runes active, which is going to be triggering once again the Ravik's Blizzard skill. As both the Blizzard and Frozen Wall skill is not counting as a hit skill, we don't really get full advantage here from the Frostbite, but they do scale of damage over time, so they are still really helpful for this build. Overall, the build feels really good and quite tanky with not too much investment in the build. You can reach a couple thousand ward within seconds and with a lot of different combination of your choice, either full ward or you can go for a hybrid build as I'm doing right now. Combining the Bleeding Heart Amulet and the Twisting Heart of Yukuros makes it so this build generates even more ward, but are at the same time keeping our health up. It also works really great to play with this build while leveling up without any of the uniques that I recommend for this build. For some pros, it got great screen wide clear speed, high ward and also fast generation of the ward as well. And it's also a very fast build with its low cooldown on Flame Rush. For the cons, it got a lot of uniques for this build and most of them are actually quite rare. The build relies on right positioning and can be very mana starving on the boss fights if you have to move around a lot. For the uniques, let's start with Snowdrift, which is going to be the most useful one for this build, with its unique modifier 2% cold penetration with Frostbite per 10% freeze rate multiplier. And here we also get some chance to apply Frostbite on hit, dodge rating, flat cold damage with spells and attacks, and also 1% increased movement speed per 2 dexterity up to a maximum of 20. Phrase Retreat is a catalyst which will make it so when we directly cast Frostwall, it will cast directly in front of us and will make it so we are leap backwards a short distance, and the Invoke Ravik's Blizzard will cast at the wall. The Runic Invocation skill tree do also apply to the Blizzard skill. We also get up to 4 level to Frostwall, some extra Frostwall duration, increased cold damage over time, and up to 24% more cold damage over time to frozen enemies. Exengius makes it so we lose 20% of our health per second, but gain that as ward instead. We also get some attack, cost, and also movement speed if we used a potion in the past 4 seconds. Frostbite Shackle is another great choice for this build. We get Frostbite on hit, increased Frostbite duration, freeze rate multiplier, and also ward gain on freeze. We also get 1% ward retention per 1% uncapped cold resistance with these gloves, which you can get pretty high with some investment. Bleeding Heart for its unique modifier up to 9% of damage leash at health, which works for all sorts of damage, even damage over time. We also get so we are inflicted with bleed when we cast a spell, but by using the Frost Claw skill, we'll make it so we will remove the bleed ailment every time we use the skill. Another unique is Twisted Heart of Ukros. From this we get so a percentage of our current health will convert to ward when we directly cast a elemental spell, and this is really strong combined with Bleeding Heart Amulet as mentioned previously. We also get +2 level of elemental and necrotic spell skills, we get some strength, cast speed, and also the base is pretty good as it gives a pretty decent chunk of increased health here as well. For some stats to look out for, go for health, resist, and also some extra cold resist for the ward retention from the gloves, critical strike avoidance for the cap, freeze rate multiplier, increase elemental damage over time and normal damage over time, increase cold and elemental damage, chance to shred armor on hit, intelligence, and also increase cast speed. And for the class specific stats, try to go for chance to apply frostbite on cold hit, freeze rate per stack of shield, and also +2 level of Frost Claw. And for the idols, first we have Throne of Ambition, which makes it so we gain a stack of ambition when we hit a boss or rare enemy. And this provides 2% more fire, cold, and also armor with a maximum stack of 20. You will lose all stacks of ambition if we go 4 seconds without gaining a stack. We also want to get 3 Adorn idols with chance to apply frostbite on cold hit and with either health or cold resist as the suffix. And some of the more notable blessings is going to be from the timeline The Black Sun for some extra void resistance, Ending the Storm for the freeze rate multiplier, Reign of Dragon you can get up to 20% to all resistance or critical strike avoidance for the easy cap, the Age of Winter for the chance to shred cold resist on hit, and Spirit of Fire for the flat armor. And let's go over quickly the most important notes for the skills, starting with Frost Claw. So Frost Claw is going to be our main single target ability and also our ward generation. 3 projectile arcs to the target location to create a burst of frost. Gift of Winter, very important note for this skill as it will reduce the cost of our mana every time we use the skill. Frost Beyond Time will increase ailment duration by 25%. Bright Frost will increase the cast speed when we are using the Frost Claw, and this will also remove all negative elements on us when we cast the skill, and this works really great for our Bleeding Heart Amulet. Colheim Ballista makes it so our rate of fire will increase for Ice Barrage when we use Frost Claw and hit a enemy. Wall of Glass makes it so all projectiles fired from Frozen Claw will now hit the same target, but will make it so the mana cost will increase by 90%. Shiver Shell makes it so we get some retaliation chance here, 9% to shoot out the Frozen Claw when we get hit, but we also gain some ward here every time we cast a skill. Raven's Veil, really strong for this skill as it provides ward per 20% freeze rate multiplier. We're using Frozen Rain here, so we get some extra reduction to the mana cost for the Frozen Claw. We're also using Ice Barrage here, which will mainly be used to help out to clear while we are doing monoliths. Wintry Blast makes it so Ice Barrage now fire 5 ice shards in a cone in front of you. Nail Shot now makes it so Ice Barrage also pierce all enemies. And Hypothermia for some extra chance for Frostbite for Ice Barrage when we are piercing. Eternal Winter for some increased duration of the skill. Challenge the Elements will make it so we increase the fire rate of the skill for rare and boss enemies. Runic Invocation is going to be applied to the Blizzard skill as I mentioned earlier, and this is going to be procced from using our Frost Wall and also when we are using Flame Rush. Elemental Lore for the increased elemental penetration here per 3 intelligence. Attune Approach for some ward gain when we are proccing the Blizzard skill and also so it costs less mana. Glyph Carver's Dominions for a increased area for the skill. Inscribed Patterns make it so we will get some extra freeze rate multiplier here per Heo rune. Runic Energy make it so every time we go without casting a Runic Invocation, we will gain a stack of Runic Energy. So stacking this up will increase the damage when we are going to be casting the Blizzard skill. We're using Frost Wall, and this is going to be used to proc the Blizzard skill, boost the damage, give us ward, and just help chilling and freezing enemies it come in contact with. Biting Limit makes it so Frostwall now have a chance to inflict stacks of Frostbite. Frigga Domain will add extra flat spell damage here per 20% of the freeze rate multiplier. Frozen Throne, so we get some increased duration of the freeze from the frost wall, and the wall also deal more damage over time to frozen enemies. Shelter of the Chiefs makes so whenever an enemy passes the wall for the first time, and after it has existed for 0.2 seconds, you gain ward equal to a small percent of the enemy's maximum health. Howling Rift makes it so when we are casting Frost Wall and having a existing wall active with more than half of its duration, the wall will cost 50% less mana. Shield Touch makes it so we deal more damage to shield enemies while we have an active Frost Wall up. Crystal of Protection makes it so Frost Wall will now grant us and also allies some ward and mana when we are passing through the wall. And the last skill is going to be Flame Rush, and this is mainly for our mobility skill, but it will also be triggering the Runic Invocation, which in this case is going to be the Blizzard skill. And to make this happen, we're using Epoch here, which will make it so we cast Runic Invocation when we exit Flame Rush. Blazing Flax for some mana efficiency and also increased cooldown recovery speed. Runic Eclipse, so we take less damage taken, and it's going to be double against the dots. Lunar Protection makes so we get ward per second during the Flame Rush, and we also get a burst of ward when Flame Rush ends. And Celestial Guidance makes so all buffs effect from the Flame Rush tree persist afterwards for a portion of time equal to the duration that you spend in Flame Rush. And Snowballing now makes it so the base damage from Flame Rush goes to cold damage. And here a quick preview of the passive skill tree, but for more information about the build I do recommend you go and check out the last Epoch build planner. Both for the passives and the skills you can simply use the progression bar at the bottom to easily see when and where to progress in the build. To the top of the build planner you can also go to the loot filters, where you can find my ultimate loot filter with a lot of options depending on how strict you want it to be. Link for this will be in the description. So what do you think about the Frozen Claw Frostbite Runemaster? Have you tried it before or tried another version of it? Feel free to tell me in the comments below. Thanks for watching, don't forget to like and subscribe if you found this video helpful. And if you want to support the channel even further, you can check out my Patreon for behind the scene footage, virtual hangouts and more. If you got any other questions, feel free to drop a comment and I'll try to answer them as soon as I can. And with that said, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!